So as you guys probably know, there was a Ted Cruz and Bernie Sanders debate on the topic of Obamacare, which is seemingly important at this point in time because there is Republican control in all parts of the government. Therefore, they have the ability to pretty much do whatever they want. So they are hell-bent on repealing Obamacare, which is interesting. So they had a debate on it, and here's the interesting thing that I want to add as a precursor to it. So Sanders defending Obamacare is like it puts him at a little bit of a disadvantage in an argument as well, because that's not his ideal position. His ideal position is basically a single payer healthcare system. So a lot of the points that they bring up, like they would bring up a bunch of points, but that wouldn't happen under single payer. So like deaths of people without being able to get it, single payer would solve that. So there's all these different types of things. But then, and also there is Ted Cruz, who really just wants a full-on laissez-faire system with no regulation whatsoever. Forget regulation of them, forget anything whatsoever. Just let them do what they want. And the Ben Shapiros of the world are all about let them compete, and that's how it's going to lower it, even though they're not going to allow people without insurance with pre-existing conditions, may I add, they would give the treatment, then afterwards they'd go back, look through all the damn papers and find, we found this stomach flu or whatever, and they would just take them off like, no, we can't, so you have to pay out of pocket. Now there's no insurance that's going to cover you because... And you can watch, I think Sicko is a really good documentary by Michael Moore to watch on this. But if you don't agree, at the very least, that the provision that says that pre-existing conditions, or the provision that bars insurance companies from taking people off who have pre-existing conditions, meaning they've gotten sick before they have some kind of chronic disease or whatever it is, and that they would use that as a cheat in the system, a flaw or a loophole, if you will, to go back and find any excuse to not let them get insured by the insurance and make them pay out of pocket. So if you are not going to say that at the very least that provision needs to be put in place, and you show me where the legislation proposed by Ted Cruz or any Republican is, I'd love to see it. If you don't agree with that specific provision, you are a legitimately bad human being, because under your system, which was one in which there was no regulation, really wasn't that much regulation. There was no Obamacare in place, so most of the stuff that you want is there. Now, what happens is, again, I just explained to you, people with pre-existing conditions could not get healthcare. Therefore, they didn't have insurance, they had some kind of chronic disease, and they got cancer. There, it's over. Either they had to pay out of pocket hundreds of thousands of dollars, or they're just going to die because they refuse to give them the surgery that they need. And I think the documentary Sicko is very important on that. Also, it sets like a bad monopoly for the healthcare industries and the whole. So basically, it's the two outplayed arguments, and I didn't realize how outplayed it gets, but basically it's like... The right wing in America is like a massively right wing when it comes to a international scale, because most modern nations have a single payer healthcare system, like Canada, for example. Like, the idea that you should go bankrupt because you don't have insurance and you don't have $150K to pay out of pocket because, oops, you got diagnosed with cancer. Like, that idea is just, it's utterly ridiculous. And the rest of the world, who is modernly industrialized, has the understanding that, maybe a good society in a country that literally has its key term as American exceptionalism should not let its people get sick and then let them die because of corporate greed. So that's not how it should work. If you don't think that people who get sick should be able to get cured and get health care, you're just a bad person, and I think you're just a stupid person, because that then makes you bring up some bullshit like like Ben Shapiro brought up that doctors, they need that profit incentive even though it's a single payer healthcare when it's a single payer healthcare system. But it's like, I think it was it Cuba that has a massive percentage of doctors or physicians, and they have a single-payer healthcare system. So all of this is like, it's projection based on zero statistics. So when people who are talking about single-payer, they bring up statistics and they bring up facts and like actual real situations. Like they tell you you're going to save money on the premiums with Obamacare as one thing. You'll pay more taxes into it, but you'll save a lot of money from the premiums because the premiums will be gone. So there's that, and then you have all of the provisions going case by case, and you can look at the stats of how many people die because they're uninsured, how many people are uninsured. So again, this idea that Canada can do it, the Netherlands can do it, you know, all these other countries, Denmark, Finland, whatever, all of them, even Cuba, man, like we're supposed to be like this huge industrial nation, like bro, we're behind Cuba. What kind of shit is that? Like, what kind of system do we live in? It's utterly ridiculous. And again, I'm always going to invoke this question to you because if you don't think about this, I have a Ben Shapiro video where he talks about healthcare by comparing it to furniture. And I got basically a bunch of Ben Shapiro social justice warriors, pieces of shit, who just come on saying, he's awesome, he's great. And it's like they provide nothing. And then if they do, they go, oh, horrible video, no points. Just tell me this. Your aunt, your uncle, your grandma, your grandpa, your nephew, whatever, gets cancer. There's no insurance because, for whatever reason, they won't let him, because of the pre-existing condition situation. He has some kind of pre-existing condition. They won't let him get the treatment that he needs unless he pays $150K out of pocket, which you just don't have. Being able to pay like $150K out of pocket is ridiculous. It's almost impossible. So what would you do in that situation? Would be like, yep, well, that's just our capitalist system. You know what? I'm sorry, you're just gonna have to go. Because believe it or not, the senators and the congressmen who are voting on this legislation, they don't have to worry about whether or not they're gonna get their health care because it's there. Their package is there, man. So that's why they don't want to say, you know, things like that. And if you are going to choose supporting your corporate greed-filled society over helping your own fucking family member who's dying, you're just a bad human being. And again, if you consider yourself religious, you are the complete opposite of Jesus.